breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
Tonight, the Bucks take down that other team from L.A.
He heaves up another three, and he plays a little more straight music. Boy, he's coming out assertive tonight.
Our Bucks Clippers coverage starts at 6 with Bucks Shoot Around on your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 101, it's 23 degrees and sunny, on our way up to 24, overnight low of 7. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, I'm Greg Matzik. 2 people injured after a morning crash flips a school bus. Milwaukee police say it happened about 6:30 this morning near 16th and Wilbur on Milwaukee's east side. A speeding car blew through a stop sign and hit a school bus, flipping it. A 45-year-old driver of the bus was taken to the hospital for injuries. No one else was on the bus. The 22-year-old driver of the other vehicle was also treated for injuries before being arrested. Several vehicles remain frozen in several inches of ice after a water main break near Franklin and Pleasant on the east side. Waterworks Superintendent Patrick Pauly says the city will try and thaw the ice today using calcium chloride.
It's effective to about 20 degrees lower than typical salt is effective. With the calcium chloride and that combination, we're hopeful that we're going to get some accelerated melting of the ice.
Pauly adds residents should not attempt DIY methods of getting their vehicles out of the frozen water. Kentucky Republican Senator Mitch McConnell will not run for an 8th term in the U.S. Senate. He says he still has some work to do during his final months, however. He does have a message for detractors.
The Senate is still equipped for work of great consequence, and to the disappointment of my critics, I'm still here on the job.
McConnell's announcement comes on his 83rd birthday. He's the longest-serving Senate party leader in U.S. history. And Milwaukee Streetcar may now be without a dedicated leader until late this June.
The system has already been without a manager since mid-October. City Operations Manager Chuck Schumacher says the deadline to apply was moved back to March 21st because the Department of Employee Relations has been trying to narrow down a salary.
DER had to do some studying on, what other transit operators are paying.
Alderman Bob Bauman laid out the new timeline Thursday.
So it could be June before anybody's on board?
Realistically, probably May or June would be my guess.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Rough day here on the indices. The Dow way down, over 600 points in the red, sitting at 44,020. NASDAQ is also down today about 150 points at 19,900. S&P 500 is down 45 points at 6101. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission, for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated. Incorporated.
Hey, Wisconsin, WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac, where the once-a-year auto show sales event is on. Prime time to explore all that's new and score great offers and special savings to get more Mazda for your money and more for your trade. Connect with Holiday for expert help, their low simplified price, and $500 auto show bonus cash on new 2025s. Stackable with offers like low 2.9% 5-year financing for well-qualified buyers on most models, including Mazda CX-30, CX-5, and CX-50. How about the 2-row Mazda CX-70 and 3-row Mazda CX-90? Save even more if you or someone in your household already drives Mazda with owner loyalty rewards. Get qualifying details today and enjoy the award-winning guest care at Wisconsin's #1. It's the stuff that makes fans of drivers from all over the Badger State, and I'm one of them. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac and holidaymazda.com. It's worth the trip. Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis suspended 25 games for using a banned substance. Portis' agent releasing a statement saying that Bobby unintentionally took a pain medication called Tramadol, thinking he was actually taking a pain medication called Toradol. Tramadol is banned by the NBA. Meanwhile, on the court tonight, the Bucks resume the regular season against the Clippers. Giannis and Damian Lillard both listed as questionable. Coverage begins following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. And a hockey rematch tonight as Team USA faces Team Canada in the finals of the Four Nations Face-Off. Taking a look at your roads here at WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Update. A couple of vehicles off to the side of the road here. 94 eastbound at the ramp to Hawley Road. The right shoulder is blocked due to an incident. Looks like a box truck and another vehicle are right there in the section between the right lane and the off-ramp. It's not really affecting traffic. Traffic is somewhat light. Not a lot of volume on the roads here this afternoon, but just be mindful of that if you're cruising through I-94 near Hawley and the stadium. Otherwise, you're experiencing normal travel times this afternoon. Well, normal temperatures are on the way here. A high of 24 degrees today. Some sun shining right now. It'll eventually be cloudy. Overnight low of 7. Sun returns on Friday with a high of 27. 28 the high on Saturday. 36 the high on Sunday. 42 with a chance of rain on Monday. Right now in Madison, it's 21 degrees. Green Bay, 25. 21 in Waukesha. And 23 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik, Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:07.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of us are ready for more normal temperatures to come back, but I don't think anyone's more ready than the people whose car was frozen to the ground.
That I can't imagine the horror of walking out to get in my car to go to work and just go, oh, it's an ice sculpture? What's going on?
You're like, it's one thing to dig my car out of snow. It's another thing to get an ice chipper and have to ship it out one by one. But I don't even know. I mean, because you saw it happened in Detroit too.
Yep.
It's even worse in Detroit.
Right.
To pass higher than the cars. So first of all, how much water was in, how many pipes actually broke?
That's ridiculous.
But does a car even work after that?
If it's completely...
If it's under the hood, if the water got under the hood and then froze, can you even thaw a car and be like, oh, here we go?
I know in the last big blizzard, a friend of mine got caught on Lakeshore Drive. His car was completely buried in snow, not in ice, and his car was out of commission for months. They had to rebuild all kinds of things in the engine, change out all the electrical stuff. I was like, they should have just totaled your car.
Right?
But
that's what I'm looking at. They have to be totaled. It's not like your phone and you can I just dump it in a bag of rice and it'll dry out, right?
Oh, and I love the story Greg just did on the news where they're saying don't try conventional methods at all. What's a conventional method for getting your car out of ice? Who's had that
just
experience?
Just like with the orange long extension cord with your hairdryer.
Somebody's out there with an ice pick just chipping away at it. Flamethrower. I'm sure there's somebody who went, I'll just get the flamethrower that I use for the weeds and try to do it. That's not going to work. You're going to blow up your car. Don't.
Who uses a flamethrower on weeds?
When we moved into our last house, the people who lived there before were like, hey, you want to buy this from us? It was a flamethrower that they used to burn weeds because part of, like, going to the garage, there's rocks along the sidewalk, and they would burn the weeds that were in the rocks instead of trying to pick them. I opted
or
against
use Roundup, which gives you cancer.
Well, sure. So it was either burn myself and the entire neighborhood down.
So you did
or
not
get
buy
cancer.
it?
I did not buy it.
You're like, I'm good, man.
For a moment, I considered it, and then Debbie, being more sensible, was like, "You don't need a flamethrower." I was like, "All right, well, then you can pick the weeds." I tried my best, but
This is the best I can do.
Yeah, really, I made an effort. You don't want to go
This is your
along with
job
my
now.
plan. Yeah, you just good luck.
All right, well.
But have you ever, like, I've had a lock on the car frozen, but that's...
The worst I've had, we think we talked about this, the worst I've ever had was when my door was frozen shut.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't pour hot water on the windshield, because I knew that, but I did pour hot water on the seal of the car to be able to open my door.
Yeah.
But frozen to the ground? No, never.
No, this is... Good luck to all those people. And that's also the kind of excuse you hope your boss has been watching the news. Because if you call and go, "Listen, I'd love to come in today. My car is frozen to the ground." Okay, Captain Exaggeration, you're just going to be late? No, but honestly, it's frozen to the ground.
At least we now have phones in our pockets and cameras in our pockets. Be like, I
that's
promise.
true.
I promise you this is what's happening instead of me just making it up.
But if you sent that to me, I would immediately think it was AI and fake.
Would you?
I think everything on the internet is fake, which is going to play into
speaking
something
of
we're
fake,
talking about later.
So tell us what you thought was fake the other day, and then you were surprised by what I had to write about it.
All right, so I'm flipping through Facebook the other night, and a friend of mine, a guy I've known for a long time, he doesn't usually traffic in absurdities or conspiracy theories. He posted something that said, "Hey, married women, take a look. Hey, married women that took your husband's name. This just passed in the House, is expected to pass in the Senate. Republicans just took away your right to vote. Are you awake yet?" And then there's they had reposted, "The SAVE Act has been passed, and if you're one of 83% of married women in this country who has taken your husband's last name, this will take away your right to vote." And I almost said to, brought this up to Debbie, and I went, "Oh, have you seen?" And then I went, "No way this can be real."
So you just thought it was fake entirely?
I thought the whole thing was a load of garbage. And then yesterday morning, I come in and I open the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and lo and behold, what do I see? Your latest column is about this exact thing. And I was like, is Kristin dealing in misinformation now? No, this is a real thing.
It is a real thing. So it is called the SAVE Act, and it's the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. And it wouldn't bar married women from voting. But when we come back, we're going to get into the details of what this says, because it would make it harder for everyone to register to vote because of what it would require you to present in person whenever you register or re-register to vote. So when
everyone except me and my white male counterparts.
No, you would still have to show a birth certificate, passport, or when you register to vote.
Oh, when I registered, but I'm already registered.
No, I know. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
we'll talk about it more when we get back on Spanning the State.
I'm Libby Collins. This week on WTMJ Conversations, we talk about something we all have in common, furniture, with Marty Commissar from family-owned Built Right Furniture.
Milwaukee is not known as being the style leader. And the West Coast is going to have styles before the Midwest. It's just the way it is.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Brian Noonan here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I love telling you about this. I've been on this weight loss journey for 5 weeks. I've already lost 29 pounds, 5 inches from my waist. My pants are getting so loose that I have to cinch my belt up a lot tighter. I wish I were kidding. No, I don't. I'm glad I'm not kidding. After all my years struggling with weight, I have found the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. The program is a doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program. It helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely. There's no drugs or injections, and there are possibilities of side effects. No prepackaged meals, bars, shakes. You eat your own food, and you don't need to exercise if you don't want to. The program helps reset your metabolism. That's internal medicine stuff. So you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. The program costs about half as much and works twice as fast as most other programs. And if you're like me, you need results quick to motivate you to keep going. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com and schedule your free consultation. Listen, many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Look at me. I am on my way to my goal. It is unbelievable to watch your body lose a pound a day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Welcome back. It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey. So, I, similar to you, first found out about the SAVE Act because I saw it on social media. Someone had sent it to me and said, hey, would you do something? Would you write or make a video or something about this? Because I also had not heard of it before.
Right.
But, of course, we know because of the statewide referendum we had in November that changed Wisconsin's constitution. It passed of saying changed the Wisconsin constitution to say only citizens can vote. Right. Because there has been a new boogeyman as far as how many illegals are voting across the country diluting the vote.
Can we start with that? Because you did quote that number. So can we get that number out of the way first to kind of set the boogeyman in the corner before you get into the details?
So we've covered this before as far as voting. I think last fall, the Wisconsin Election Commission had come out of how often, not even just illegal people, non-citizens voting, but just any kind of illegal voting. But the Brennan Center in 2016 surveyed 42 different jurisdictions for the 2016 election, and across those 42 jurisdictions, there was 23 million votes, and I think there was 30 cases, not even. So it was like 0.0006%.
That's a lot.
So it's very, very infrequent. When it does happen, it's usually by mistake, and the consequences to voting illegally is very serious. You can get deported. You can have jail time. Like it is a very serious offense. Well, this is the second time the SAVE Act has been introduced. It was introduced in the last Congress, and Republican Representative Brey from Texas has reintroduced it. Is not passed. So that was wrong on your friend's Facebook.
Oh, that's good.
It is not passed. It has been introduced. It has been a promise to fast track it. Yeah. But basically what it does, it would require every American citizen when they register to vote or re-register, so if you move, to present some kind of document that proves that you were born in this country. So that's a passport, a birth certificate, and there's a couple other citizenship status type documents that you can present. And you have to do it in person.
Okay.
So it basically eliminates any kind of voter registration like drives, anything like where you're like, oh, all I have to do is show my ID that I have on me. I can do that. So it's not only that part that is a lot of popular ways to register to vote would be upended. It is also the fact that a lot of people don't have these documents. We've talked about this, even how hard it can be for some people to get an actual physical ID.
Right.
If you increase that to being your birth certificate or a passport, half of America doesn't have a passport.
Right, exactly.
146 million people don't have passports.
Okay.
But on top of that, specifically for married women, if you change your name, if you change your last name, your birth certificate doesn't match your current name.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden you have multiple expensive, sometimes hard to get documents you have to show up in person to present in order to register to vote.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not accepting a marriage certificate. Like if Debbie, who took my name, brought her birth certificate, which has her birth name on it, and our marriage certificate, they're not gonna, that doesn't count.
No, the marriage certificate does not count.
Which you think it should count because that shows why your name is different.
Yeah. And so this is a terrible bill. It is a terrible bill with way more unintended or maybe intended consequences to make it way harder to vote for millions of people in the name of rooting out a problem that isn't actually a problem.
Right. We've created a straw man in this voting frauds or irregularities, and now we're going to back it up and make it even harder. But I know it's targeting a lot of people. It really seems like it could be targeting women on the surface the most immediately.
Well, it's certainly targeting transgender people who've changed their names. But it's weird, yes. And what's weird about this, and this is kind of where I took it, which some people may think is a leap, but this would probably disproportionately affect Republican women. One, because they're more likely to change their name than Democratic women. And two, if you look at the states that have the least amount of passports, they're predominantly red states.
Well, why would you want to leave a red state?
I mean, it's tied to poverty. It's tied to how much are you traveling internationally when you don't have resources. But the thing for me is there was enough quips, and not even quips. Sometimes they're jokes, sometimes they're not. But like Ann Coulter, prominent, longtime conservative pundit, some say performance artist, I don't know, despite being a woman, has been advocating for taking away women's right to vote for a long time. She has been public about this for a very long time. John McEntee, who was a Trump advisor, he is now one of the founders of The Right Stuff, which is a conservative dating app. He often has viral videos on TikTok because he says pretty inflammatory stuff. He joked ahead of the election, I'm sorry, when we said mail-in voting, we only wanted male voting. We meant M-A-L-E. Right. And that kind of went viral. But there's enough kind of Christian nationalist purists who believe in household voting. And so once you were in, but also just think of the meltdown that happened
I was going to bring that.
With Jesse Waters and Charlie Kirk, and so many people had even the idea that their wives would lie to them about voting for Kamala instead of Trump. And so there's just these little insinuations that I was like, this is a slippery slope if you start making it harder for women to vote, because there's enough people out there who would rather we didn't.
And from those guys, they can say they're joking, but having made my living with jokes for a long time, there's always a little kernel of truth in there. So they may write that off.
Because what makes it funny?
The truth.
Right?
The
relatability.
relatability.
I mean, like, if you make that joke of, wouldn't it be great if we just... I think there was a joke. I saw someone... It was obviously planned, but it was a joke where a guy locked his girlfriend in a closet so she couldn't go vote. And it's like, why is this getting shared so much? Because there's enough guys who are like, I kind of wish I could do that.
I wish I could tell. I wish I could tell my lady what to do.
That is like the kernel of truth, or the kernel of I wish we could, is what some people find that joke funny, or why they find it funny.
Let me ask you as a woman, because this, I think if there, say women were in charge and this was going for men would be up in arms, screaming. It would never go through because men would take to the streets. We would, and it seems on issues like this, I am always shocked by the divide amongst women who will vote for something that is clearly not in their self-interest, or transgender people who will vote for something that is not, any group that votes against their own self-interest baffles me. It's because I know as a guy, if something like this came that was going to restrict men's rights to do whatever, I'd be furious. And
but I think I was watching some of the comments come in on the video that accompanied the article yesterday, and it kind of comes back to why is it that hard, right? And the assumption of people who kind of assume I have a passport. What's wrong? Just show your passport. If you're a married woman, you've already changed your last name. And the whole point is I joked because I didn't change my last name.
Right.
Because
you knew this was coming?
Yeah, totally knew this was coming.
Perfect.
Not because I didn't want to change paperwork, do a bunch of paperwork. And so I think there's always, because like you said, it's in what your friend posted,
right.
Little hyperbolic. This has only been introduced. It hasn't been passed. It doesn't take away your right to vote. It makes it substantially harder to register to vote. Mm-hmm. And so that it is a bit of a poll tax because these are getting a passport, not cheap.
No.
If you've moved states, getting your birth certificate from your home state takes 6 months sometimes, right? So it's not a fast process. And so I think it's sometimes the assumption that just because it was easy for you to have these documents, that it's easy for everyone to get these documents. And it's the fundamental difference between people who think, like me, who think that we should make it easy to vote because it is one of our fundamental rights versus people who want to make it harder for whatever reason they want to make it harder.
Well, and you brought up an interesting point, which, again, sometimes I talk about people being short-sighted. For the Republicans backing this, it is very short-sighted unless all of them believe that their wives and moms and, sisters-in-law shouldn't be allowed to vote because, as you said, it's predominantly these red states. It's like, well, again, you're legislating against your own family. Have you not thought that far ahead, or is it just this knee-jerk reaction to we need to fix a problem that's not there, and we're going to do it this way? So there's a lot where common sense just does not play in. But if I were a woman, if I were transgender, if I were anyone who changed my name for whatever reason, I would be calling all my representatives and trying to fight this because it's ridiculous.
That basically is right now what you can do.
That's all we can do,
There's petitions you can sign, you can call your representatives, but it is a bill that has been introduced. So we will keep track of it as far as voting on it and what would happen in the Senate.
Well, next time I think something is fake, I'll wait till the next day and hopefully you'll do another column.
We'll
on
see.
It and then...
Maybe I'll just be a mind reader like that.
That's right.
All right. We'll come back with more after this.
Are we sure they aren't named after nail clippers?
How often do you cut your toenails?
I would say every 2.5 to 8 weeks.
Because they sure are experts at trimming down expectations. The Clippers come to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks.
He's now just 4 of 11. How about Kuzma the other way? Flushes it through, bringing the Thunder with a one-hand slam down the lane.
Our Bucks radio game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed in my home. Spring is quickly approaching, and it is the perfect time for you to get an awning installed, so it's ready once the temps warm up. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. In February, you can receive a free motor with the purchase of any retractable awning or screens. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit ComfortAwnings.com to learn more.
Spanning the State, I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey.
All right, well, this is exciting. Next Friday, we will not be in the studio. We will be broadcasting.
Our first remote of the year.
Yes, from the auto show.
I don't know anything about cars. Maybe I'll learn something next week.
Well, you'll learn that they're really pretty when they're brand new.
Okay.
And they're every car is going to look like a car you want to take home. That's been my experience at every auto show I've go to. I was like, oh,
maybe
I like
someone will
this
be able
one.
to answer whether or not these frozen cars will ever run again.
We'll see if we can get them on. All right, when we come back, we'll talk to
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A final confirmation vote in the Senate moments ago for Kash Patel's nomination to lead the FBI. He in a vote to 59-47.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed.
Before the final tally, Democrats spoke on the Senate floor to oppose his confirmation. Senator Dick Durbin on why he voted against.
Let's be honest about what's going on here. There's an effort to have Soviet-style historical revision.
Republican Senators Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska also voted no. The IRS says it's begun laying off more than 6,000 new and newly promoted employees across the country. A source familiar with the planning told ABC News it's part of the broader campaign to shrink the federal workforce and could impact the tax filing season. And Kentucky's governor says the death toll has risen to 15 from this week's back-to-back storms and flooding. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 1:31, 23 degrees and sunny at our downtown studios. I'm Greg Matzik. After 133 years and several drastic cuts, a private environmental liberal arts college in far northern Wisconsin is closing its doors. Northland College officials announced despite several drastic cuts, including reducing their major offerings down to 9, the board says the school has no reasonable path forward. Enrollment at the school was about 300 students at the beginning of the academic year. A road project on Milwaukee's lakefront could soon get a funding boost. The Lakefront Gateway project at Lincoln Memorial Drive in East Michigan is in line to receive over $16 million in additional funding, according to the city. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports bids for the project would go out in late winter or early spring, with construction tentatively expected to be completed by the end of 2026. And the CDC says it's the worst flu season in 15 years. Dr. Tim Richer of Tosa Pediatrics says the flu vaccine so far has only been 35% effective in preventing the illness. Most cases so far have been influenza A. Dr. Richer warns influenza B is still to come. 2 states are also reporting a measles outbreak, with dozens of cases in Texas and 13 people hospitalized. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not a good day here on the indices. Lots of red and deep into it. The Dow down nearly 600 points at 44,037. NASDAQ is off about 150 today at 19,919. And the S&P 500 off about 40 at 6104. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads, a WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic update. Still have a couple of vehicles off to the side of the road. They're right in between the right lane and the off-ramp, 94 eastbound at Hawley. That right shoulder is blocked due to an incident. Take your time if you're moving through that area. Volume is starting to pick up a little bit, but cars seem to be moving through without too much of an issue. Just a bit of a slowdown here, 43 southbound Brown Deer to downtown. That'll run you about 13. That's a 2-minute delay. Sun and clouds today. Flurries are all but a thing of the past. Partly cloudy this afternoon and evening with a high of 24. Tonight, a low of 7. Friday, a nice day. Sunny with a high of 27. Partly cloudy on Saturday and a high of 28. Back into the low 40s with rain on Monday. Right now in Waukesha, it's 21 degrees, 21 in Madison, 25 in Green Bay, and 23 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News time is 1:34.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25. Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Osaic Advisory Services LLC. Osaic Advisory. Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, and services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory.
You gotta get to Built Right today. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here to tell you about Built Right's President's Day and Randy Kay's birthday extended mattress sale. Their one location saves you time and money, and they make it easy to shop and easy to buy. Built Right beats any big box, national or local chain store, department store, employee-free store, online retailer, or warehouse club because they have the guaranteed lowest prices. Built Right also has the best value, selection, and experienced team in Wisconsin. Over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best mattress brands made in the USA: Heirloom, Gold Bond, Therapeutic, Restonic, and Schiffman. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $7.99 or more. Built Right saves you money. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Welcome back to Spanning the State, where we do prove it's a small world. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey. And back in December, Wisconsin's Public Defender's Office asked for changes that aim to reduce how often criminal charges are filed in Wisconsin. The proposal submitted to Wisconsin's Department of Administration was part of the agency's budget request for the next 2 fiscal years, which obviously on Tuesday night was the governor gave his proposal. And so the agency suggests amending state law to limit the definition of criminal disorderly conduct, and they requested getting rid of state criminal charges for marijuana possession. Here to explain why that is part of the budget proposal is Jennifer Bias, who is the Wisconsin State Public Defender. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
So I guess my first question is kind of, these feel like, those two requests specifically feel like legal definitions that I was surprised to see you guys request through a budget proposal. So what is the connection to the budget, why those requests would be included for the next 2 years?
Well, let me start with a little bit of history if I can. The Public Defender's Office in Wisconsin is really in a constitutional crisis. We've been in a constitutional crisis for several years. The entire criminal legal system is suffering. We really have so many cases coming in that we, the Public Defender's Office, are just not able to handle the volume. The Public Defender's Office is authorized to assign lawyers. We can assign a staff lawyer or a private lawyer. We have private bar partners, and we're so thankful for them, that assist us in taking cases that our staff cannot take. Well, we are getting so many cases coming in right now that we just don't have enough lawyers to handle them. We're thankful for everything that the legislature and the governor did in 2023 to increase pay for staff and to increase the pay for our private bar partners. It just hasn't been enough. And so what we did was at budget time and in preparation for this, submission, we looked around to see, is there a case type or several case types that if we changed a little bit of the language, maybe those cases wouldn't come to us and we wouldn't need to find lawyers, and therein lies the way that it impacts our budget.
Got it.
We wouldn't need to ask for additional positions. We wouldn't need to ask for additional lawyers, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, let's talk about criminal disorderly conduct then. Can you give us the current definition and then what the proposed change of definition would be?
Yeah, the current statute says, and this is Wisconsin statute chapter 947.01, whoever in a public or a private place engages in violent, abusive, indecent, profane, boisterous, unreasonably loud, or otherwise disorderly conduct.
It's very vague and
under circumstance. I'm not done, Brian.
I'm sorry, it's already
it goes
vague.
on and on. Under circumstances in which the conduct tends to cause or provoke a disturbance is guilty of a Class B misdemeanor. So, college days, boisterous, loud.
I would have been in
Otherwise
jail
reserved?
my whole life.
So is that so that's a very vague definition, and then is it up to the DA as far as using anything under that definition for the charges?
Absolutely. Prosecutors have unfettered discretion in determining what charges. Now, we're not proposing that disorderly conduct or whatever definition under local law, under county or a municipality's ordinance be taken away. That ability still exists under whatever definition the locales want to provide. And currently, virtually every county, municipality, village, whatever, has a disorderly conduct ticket that they, issue for however they've defined the behavior. That would stay intact.
So what is the change that you guys are asking for?
We're asking that the words indecent, profane, boisterous, and unreasonably loud, I think that protects you, Brian, that those words would come out.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Jennifer. But so then are we going to have to, who's going to be in charge of determining what is boisterous and what is loud to one person, not to another? How does that all get shaken out before the DA can say, all right, yeah, we are going to file charges? Is that up to the police then?
The police can issue a ticket. The prosecutor can decide to use the statute or not use it at all for the words engaging in violent and abusive conduct.
Okay.
Or in situations or circumstances in which the conduct tends to cause or provoke it. All those other words are still there for the prosecutor to use to make their decision.
Got it. And then the other one, which I think is already interesting, because in most of our biggest cities in Wisconsin, marijuana possession has been not decriminalized, but it's a low priority for police officers. I know it's the fine in Madison and Milwaukee, but then there's certain parts of the state where if you have marijuana possession, it's a much higher charge. And so is that similar to what the request is as far as standard across the board, marijuana possession, no matter where you are in the state, being treated the same and it not being a criminal charge?
Yeah, so in current law, there is a misdemeanor simple possession charge. And again, prosecutors have the discretion to determine whether they want to go forward with that charge or something else, including any of those ordinance ticket types of charges that you mentioned earlier. Yes, in communities where there is an ordinance or a ticket available to issue, the DA would make that charge.
Yeah.
And that would still be available if the state statute is taken away.
Got it.
Was there any mention of any of this the other night? I know you were mentioning before we got on that the governor's budget proposal was very, very lengthy. But was there anything mentioned during the speech about what you guys are proposing?
I don't recall anything being mentioned specifically. I do know that there is language that's kind of addressing this whole issue related to marijuana. The governor's proposal is to, make simple possession legal. And as for the disorderly conduct piece, there is some language in the bill that requires the district attorney to offer an alternative. It's called a diversion to any defendant through a deferred prosecution agreement or an agreement where the defendant stipulates to his or her guilt. It would be a non-criminal ordinance again. We're taking these out of the criminal courts. Okay. We don't need to have a lawyer. We don't need to use court time. Okay. It addresses that constitutional crisis that I talked about before. And then there's some other language, some other conditions that must be met, but the language requires district attorneys to go that route.
But then ultimately, as we know, this Joint Finance Committee, they're going to go in through their budget. Do you have any indication from lawmakers as far as how they've reacted to this proposal?
I don't have a direct indication, but I am sure that they are going to be considering all of our proposals.
Yeah.
Frankly, we, again, have been in a constitutional crisis. They have been looking at it for years. They have taken some measures in the past to correct the situation and to give us the resources that we need. And I know that they understand that right now we just don't have enough resources for all of the cases that are coming in.
Because there's still a huge backlog from COVID, isn't there?
I believe that there are too many cases that are sitting, waiting for a lawyer to be appointed because, again, when it comes to the public defender side of the equation, we just don't have enough lawyers. We could talk about whether or not there are other charges that we could maybe pull out of the criminal statutes so that lawyers don't have to be provided. We could talk about other ways to, kind of look at the criminal legal system to see if there are more resources that we want to dedicate to the work that all of us do there. But yeah, definitely the legislature is going to take a look at it.
If that funding doesn't come through, is there a path forward? What does the public defender do in worst case scenario?
In worst case scenario, there are people that will be waiting, and they may wait even longer for a lawyer to be assigned to represent them in our criminal courts.
What's a time for people who are listening? Oh, well, what's a long time? Is a week a long time? Is 2 months a long time? What is a long time?
In some instances, a week is absolutely too long.
Right.
Yes, but we may have people waiting for months.
Wow.
Oh. All right.
So much for the right to a speedy trial.
Well, that's thus the constitutional crisis, right?
That's the constitutional crisis.
All right. Well, Jennifer Bias, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. She is the Wisconsin State Public Defender, and we will have more on Spanning the State after this.
Fingers come in different sizes,
It's one of the first things you learn as a jeweler,
and a ring can only be sized up or down a little bit.
which means it's a really good thing to know your ring size.
And it's an even better thing to know their ring size.
This is why we're announcing
The Ring Size Registry at Kessler's.
we're doing it as a public service. It's completely free.
Free. Isn't that a great price?
Here's how it works.
Just drop into any Kessler's Diamonds location and tell one of the owners that you'd like to know your ring size.
Kessler's is an employee-owned company, so whoever greets you at the door is an owner.
They'll determine your ring sizes and add them to our Ring Size Registry.
Then, when someone wants to know your ring size,
Because, maybe they want to surprise you.
all they have to do is call or stop into Kessler's.
Surprises can be fun, don't you think?
We're happy to do this for you, even if you don't buy a ring from us.
But after you take a look around, we think you probably will. Visit KesslersDiamonds.com for a location near you and register your ring sizes today.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey. If you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economwalk Dental Care has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to my exam, Dr. Michaels' staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. Listen, we all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economwalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me.
It's Spanning the State. You can call now, but not during class if a new bill passes the Senate.
I know that I saw when this was introduced, but it is passed. And so Republicans at least in the Assembly, it has passed of banning, basically the bill would require public school boards to enact policies prohibiting students from using cell phones, tablets, and laptops during instructional time.
The issue, that's fine. But the issue is like 90% of districts already have, in Wisconsin, have those rules already. The problem isn't that school districts aren't trying to keep kids off the phones. It's how do we actually do it? So this is nice. And the sponsors of the bill said, oh, this shows the districts that we're behind them and we've got your back. Yeah,
because like, what's the consequence? Are you starting to arrest kids then in school?
Cell phone cops? You're gonna put not only the safety officers in the schools, you're gonna put the cell phone cops in the schools too.
Like a mall cop?
I guess they'd be on a little one of those.
Blart? Is that
Paul Blart?
Paul Blart, yeah.
Paul Blart, cell phone cop. He's in your school, just coming around. So I mean. This is nice, and it has bipartisan support. Sure, because it doesn't really mean anything.
No, it doesn't. The bill passed 53-45 with two Republicans joining all the Democrats who were actually in opposition.
I'm sorry. That was in other states.
Other states there's been. But I think that's the criticism of this is like, one, how do you enforce it? And two, are you going to give funding to be able to enforce it? If whatever the resources. Because this is the thing that I think, because I know the thing for a lot of parents now when it comes to having their kids have their phone is the reality of school shootings and emergencies, right? Of like, I want my child to have their phone on them in case of an emergency. So what I think is those, like the bucket.
Yep.
Like if you're going to a party now, it's like everyone throws their phone in the bucket. So you walk into class and you have to put your phone in some kind of device that's at the front of the class. Yeah. So if something were to happen, it's in the room you're in,
get to it.
But it's not on your body.
Right.
But again, if you have a disruptive kid who refuses to give you your phone, what do you do with that?
Well,
but I just feel like there's a way, or those little magnetic bags, like when you go to Dave Chappelle, they're like, oh, you can't film anything, and you have to like put your phone in something.
But if you don't, those are all great ideas. And if there's the disruptive kid who won't give up the phone, that's the principal's responsibility. That's the school. Are you going to call someone from the state to come to your school because during English, Bobby wouldn't put his phone away?
I know.
No, you're going to send them to whoever's in charge of discipline in the school.
Which they're probably already doing if there's school rules.
Right. So, again, is it a nice thing? Sure. Is it needed? I don't think so. But it does make sense to not have kids on their phone or a tablet during class time. That just, of course not. Teachers are trained for this. They work hard to do it. There's always going to be one or two kids who are going to try to sneak past. That's part of it. Same thing with gum. We're not supposed to chew gum in class. There's always a couple kids who are chewing gum. There's always a couple kids who are, looking over at their desk mate's paper when they're taking a test. That's teachers and the administration handle that.
Yeah.
Once the district sets down the rules, then it's up to somebody on the ground to enforce it, not
the state.
Not I don't want big government putting their boot on my phone's neck.
The other bill that they passed was mandating cursive. Do you write in cursive?
I can.
I feel
don't
like you were
anymore.
Of the age of probably I really got beat into you, either literally or
yes. Well,
metaphorically.
I went to Catholic school, so it was a little of both. Yes, and I know we had gotten back occasionally to handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, a lot of the handwriting was just for block letters because people can't read cursive.
I know.
That's why, like, if we're going to give a note to another teacher during class, it's always in cursive because the kids can't read it.
There was some kids in my mom's, and we're going to go soon, but my mom, they were like volunteering. They weren't volunteering. They were like doing yard work for her.
Yeah.
And she left a note in cursive on the door as far as like she had run an errand and was coming back. And they weren't there when she got back, and they said they were going to be there. And so, like, whatever, the next day, later in the week, they were 8th graders. She was like, I left you the note. Where, like, they're like, oh, we couldn't read it. They couldn't read it.
Some kids do teach themselves, though. Some kids are curious and they want to learn to write cursive, and then they're very proud of themselves.
I'm sure. That's something to be proud of. All right, when we come back, we will spin around the state on Spanning the State.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
I remember I never spoke in front of a podium until the NFC Championship game.
See the world from his perspective.
With all due respect, why were you asked to go to the podium?
To be podium guy.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
What do you mean with all due respect?
I didn't want it to come off like I was being rude. I'm just curious.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It comes off incredibly rude. Hey, Tausch, you suck. What are you doing up at the podium? Well, thanks, Bill.
Presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
Hey, you. I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber? More laxatives? More of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family values. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Numbness, tingling in the hands, arms, legs, feet. Time to go see Dr. Alex Young and my team at Connect Chiropractic. Regular chiropractic care can bring life-changing results for folks who suffer from neuropathy and fibromyalgia, nervous system issues that can be corrected. And no worries about twisting, cracking, or popping. The docs at Connect Chiro use all the same method, a special tool that is pain-free and effective for your adjustments. Visit them in Delafield and Wauwatosa or get started online at GoConnectChiro.com.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradenton Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradenton Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases, and it's free. Stop in today and save now during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Hey, it's the weekend. Take your family to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. Half your dinners are free, even on the weekend. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds, my favorite place. The Friday fish fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. Choice steaks, delicious seafood, mouthwatering pasta. The pecan-crusted walleye is so good. All the entrees are buy one, get one free. Desserts, too. Including that chocolate cake. Buy one, get one free. De-stress with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan. They've got 20 great bourbons, over 100 fine wines, and those 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Fantastic. Saturday night, your second prime rib dinner is free, only at the Fox and Hounds. The magnificent Sunday brunch is all you can eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Wherever you live, it's worth the drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner right near Holy Hill. Call and reserve your free dinner this weekend. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
You should be listening to Wisconsin's Midday News each weekday from 11 to 1.
Bucks President Peter Feigin joins us live here in the studio right now.
But if you missed us, catch up anytime with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty by listening to the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast.
What you're seeing now is like the reality of, playing a season together, kind of, getting to know each other.
Powered by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more.
Don't forget, take us with you wherever you go. We'd love to have you with us.
Looking to escape the winter chill? Fox World Travel has you covered. Whether it's an all-inclusive vacation with Apple Vacations, a luxurious Princess Cruise, or a European adventure with Globus and Avalon, we create unforgettable experiences just for you. Enjoy last-minute deals, exclusive offers, and personalized itineraries. From booking to boarding, we handle all the details for a stress-free trip. Ready to get out of the cold? Call 866-GO-FOX-GO and mention code RADIO to start planning your getaway today.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Tonight, the Bucks take down that other team from L.A.
He heaves up another three, and he plays a little more string music. Boy, he's coming out assertive tonight.
Our Bucks Clippers coverage starts at 6 with Bucks Shoot Around on your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 2:01. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 7. Wind chills down below 0 inland. Tomorrow, sunny, a high of 27. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm John Mercier. 2 people are injured after a morning car crash flips over a school bus. Milwaukee police say it happened about 6:30 this morning near 16th and Wilbur on Milwaukee's east side. A speeding car blew through a stop sign, hit a school bus, flipping it over. The 45-year-old bus driver was taken to the hospital for injuries. No one else was on the bus. The 22-year-old driver of the car was also treated for injuries before being arrested. Several cars remain frozen in inches of ice after a water main break near Franklin and Pleasant on Milwaukee's east side. Waterworks Superintendent Patrick Pauly tells WTMJ the city will try to thaw the ice today with calcium chloride.
It's effective to about 20 degrees lower than typical salt is effective. With the calcium chloride and that combination, we're hopeful that we're going to get some accelerated melting of the ice.
Pauly says residents should not attempt DIY methods to get their cars out of the frozen water. Longtime Trump loyalist and former federal prosecutor Kash Patel is the 18th cabinet official approved by lawmakers since President Trump's inauguration a month ago. His nomination to lead the FBI confirmed with a 51-49 Senate vote, despite opposition from Democrats who say they fear Patel will target Trump adversaries. Next month, a judge in Los Angeles is set to hear arguments from the Menendez brothers as they claim they deserve freedom. They were convicted decades ago of killing their parents in 1989.
In a phone call from behind bars, Lyle and Eric Menendez told a TMZ podcast hosted by their attorney, Mark Garagos, and TMZ's Harvey Levin that they are eagerly awaiting the resentencing hearing set for next month, which was delayed from December to then January and now March.
I think we're mostly dealing with the reactions of our family who are very anxious, and the delays are very upsetting for them.
They claim in the podcast they have evolved over the 35 years that they've been in prison. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It's not often you get a chance to attend spring training, let alone practice with the Brewers.
8-year-old Blake Baker of Grafton says that he hopes to not only play baseball and basketball with his brother, but to meet his favorite brewer.
Jackson Cheerio. Why? Because he's good.
Baker had a benign brain tumor earlier this year, but thanks to Aurora Medical, he's on the road to recovery. Baker's parents say they're thrilled for the next few days.
It's been surreal to be invited to do this, especially after the tough year that we've had. It's just really nice to be able to spend some time together with family.
Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red. The Dow is off 506 points right now. The NASDAQ is off 106. The S&P is down 30 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:04.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit Froedtert.com/cancer.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome, John, our new admin lead.
Thanks.
You've got your laptop, all your admin apps. Oh, and you'll be in charge of ordering food for the team. So here's your drawer full of menus.
Whoa.
You'll keep your receipts in this file folder. Whoops, receipt confetti.
Oh, dear.
Oh, and all these sticky notes have everyone's dietary preferences.
Have you tried Easy Cater? Online ordering from great restaurants, tools to save time and stay on budget, digital receipts in one place.
We're gonna need a bigger recycling bin.
Easy Cater, the smarter, simpler way to order food for your workplace. Order now at easycater.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis suspended for 25 games for using the banned substance tramadol. His agent says he thought he was taking a medication called Toradol. The Bucks resume the regular season tonight at home against the Clippers. Coverage of tonight's game begins following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. And a hockey rematch tonight as Team USA faces Canada in the finals of the Four Nations Face-Off. Checking out your roads with WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. One significant delay, a disabled vehicle on the exit from 4394 southbound onto 94 coming east into the city. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 7. Wind chills down to 5 below. Tomorrow, sunny, 27. Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 28. Sunday, mostly cloudy, a high of 36. On Monday, a slight chance for rain, a high of 42 degrees. Right now in Green Bay, cloudy and 26 degrees. In Madison, mostly sunny and 22. In Milwaukee, partly cloudy and 25 degrees. I'm John Mercure, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Well, welcome to the second hour of the program. If you missed anything so far, you can always catch up wherever you get your podcasts, WTMJ.com or anywhere else. And if you miss any of Spinning, you can text SPIN 855-616-1620, which is the Signing Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. All right, Kristin, shall we?
We shall.
Here we go.
Sheboygan. All right, Sheboygan. Winning an award is nice. Winning it a second time is better. The Harbor Center Marina achieved recognition as a clean marina, joining about 2 dozen others in the state to commit to pollution prevention, wildlife protection, and sustainable practices in Wisconsin waters. Sheboygan's Marina, established in 1993 and first certified as a Wisconsin Clean Marina in 2010, was recertified by the Wisconsin's Clean Marina Program, administered by the University of Wisconsin's Sea Grant Program and partner groups. Nicholas Worminski, new marina manager, said, quote, Harbor Center Marina has been a long-time certified clean marina. It is important for the marina to continue this tradition and remain environmentally friendly. Achieving the certification can create a healthier environment for boaters and recreation and prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species. As the program verifies, the marinas comply with state and federal pollution and safety laws. To achieve certification, Marinas must implement applicable, mandatory, and program-required best management practices from the WCM certification checklist.
I'm surprised. Every marina should be clean like this. That's an easy thing to say. If you deal with the water, you should want to keep the water clean. But congrats.
I imagine it's harder to keep them clean because of boats.
Because of people.
Well, the people, but right? Because that's where
the boats
marina, you always think of that's where the boats are docked.
But I love the University of Wisconsin Sea Grant program. It reminds me of Sea Hunt with Lloyd Bridges, which
it's also
is
my joke of the day.
Is it?
Well, we'll save it. We'll do it at the end of spinning.
Do it at the end of spinning. All right. Now there's another reason for you to stick around. Not only do we have a joke, we have a wheel spin.
Milwaukee.
I know you're often thinking, Brian, is there anywhere I can get free beer and a free brat? Well, you are in luck because nothing is more Wisconsin than a beer and a brat. One of the names closely associated with brats is, of course, Fred Usinger. To celebrate Usinger's 145 years in Milwaukee, Old German Beer Hall is throwing a party for a very Milwaukee holiday, Fred Usinger Day. In a very Milwaukee way, free brats and beer.
Nice.
You had me at free. Yes, it is nice. February 23rd, which is
3
Sunday.
days.
This is time to plan. Get out your elastic waist pants and get ready to go because Old German Beer Hall will hand out free brats, one per person, easy, while supplies last from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I love brats, and you know I like beer. I don't know if 8 a.m. is a little too early.
Is it that different than a kielbasa? Kielbasa's a breakfast sausage.
I guess. And it's like a tailgate. If you treat it like a tailgate, I'm in. 8 to 8. If you need something to wash down your brat, a keg of Hofbrau Munich beer will be tapped with Fritz Usinger, the great-grandson of Fred and president of Usinger's Today. The beer in the keg will be free until it runs out. That sounds great. The Journal-Sentinel reported that this is the 18th Old German Beer Hall celebration for Fred Usinger Day, a holiday that is recognized by the city of Milwaukee and the county. The free brats will be a special recipe made just for Old German Beer Hall, made with Hofbrau Dunkel Lager and Applewood smoked bacon. That sounds delicious.
I feel like Fritz is a name you don't hear very often anymore.
No, it's a nickname. I knew a guy named Fred who that was his nickname.
By Fritz?
Yeah, but
I don't think I've ever met a Fritz my age.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah.
Except, like I said, a nickname. All right, well, listen, that's Sunday. If you want more details, text SPIN. All right, the final spin of the day.
La Crosse.
All right. The La Crosse Regional Airport has big plans in store for the travel industry locally, from attracting competing airlines to a potential new restaurant to service those awaiting their flights. Efforts to attract a new airline and the need for a new food and drink concession were topics of interest at the La Crosse Aviation Board meeting on Monday. Reporting the La Crosse Tribune stated that as part of the efforts to build relationships with new airlines, the airport has officially hired a new air service consulting agency called Crawford, Murphy & Tilley. J.D. Roberts, business manager at the airport, told the paper, quote, they run air service development around the country and work with airports our size to really advance our agenda and try to get airlines to understand the excellent possibilities of working with La Crosse. In January, the La Crosse Airport received $250,000 from the county to aid in their efforts to bring in another airline, in addition to the existing American Airlines services. Recently, Roberts met with 6 total airlines, including American Airlines, who currently service the La Crosse area, and Delta, who previously serviced the area. So, more people need to fly, because I guess when you're on that side of the state, go to Minneapolis.
Yeah, because there's nothing close in Iowa.
I mean, Madison is closer, but as far as how many different airlines fly into La Crosse.
So they're talking to a lot of those small to mid-range carriers. Well, hopefully that's I think for an airport like that, it's good to get that consultant. Let them get out there and do the business, because you don't want to show up hat in hand to Delta and go, we really want you to come back. Have somebody else do it. You look like a big shot or whatever. All right, listen, you teased us. You have a joke?
It's not a very good one, but this is my joke of the day. So, why do seagulls fly by the sea and not the bay?
Seagulls fly by the sea. Because if they did that, they'd be bagels.
There you go. Got it. Look at you.
I had to work that one a little bit. People can get these fantastic jokes where?
At Kristin Brey on Instagram. I post my story every day. They're on TikTok too.
All right, so if you need...
There's just stupid jokes to get through the day.
They're great, though, if you have kids, because kids will laugh at these jokes. Like the one you told, was it last week, that had poop in it? Oh, that was, or a fart. That one was...
The diarrhea joke?
Yes.
Diarrhea is hereditary?
Yeah.
It runs in your genes?
I told that to Debbie that night. She was not a fan. But she doesn't like scatological humor.
That's fine.
That's my stock in trade. All right, if you missed any of spinning, you can text spin to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620, and you'll get all the details. Okay, when we come back, there is a proposal on the table to pay people to move to Wisconsin. What? I already live here. I'm not going to get any money. Well, hang on. We'll explain the whole thing when we come back on Spanning the State.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
MPS has made its choice for the next district leader.
Eric Billstad.
Wisconsin has seen 6 deadly accidents involving a UTV on the ice this winter. It's prompting the DNR to issue more safety wardens.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
Got other spin-outs, cars into ditches. Visibility is not all that great either.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and if you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs, no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economowalk Dental has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economowalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. If you want to start feeling confident about your smile, go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. And they're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Better than Wisconsin. Moving on up, you come to Wisconsin,
I think
right?
it'd be great. Yeah, I mean, we're in preliminary talks of finally coming across the line.
Oh,
yes, but I thought this idea made a lot of sense. We talk a lot about different fields that are really looking for people, whether it's healthcare, which is a big one, teachers, there's an employment shortage.
Dentists, dental hygienists, mechanics,
yes.
There's shortages. We need more people. We need more working age people across Wisconsin.
Because we talk about the population getting older, rural communities losing population. So when we saw this story about the GOP proposing a $10,000 income tax break for hurricane and wildlife people who relocate, I was like, oh, this seems to make sense. So this is the proposal. It's people who lost their homes to Hurricane Helene or the California wildfires could get a big tax break just to move to Wisconsin. So Republican legislators, as I said, have proposed this bill. So anyone who moves to Wisconsin from North Carolina or Los Angeles County because they were displaced by one of the disasters gets a $10,000 income tax credit for this 2025 tax year. At first blush, like I said, this seems to address some needs that we have because one of the authors of this bill said, and I think we've all talked about this, when you see the fires or you see the hurricane damage, do those people stay or do they want to go somewhere else? Well, if you're looking to relocate, hey, here's a little incentive.
And I wonder how many people are, right? That's what I wonder as far as, because especially for California, I think that with the prices being what they are, especially in Altadena, the question of, can people even afford to rebuild their homes there? But it's also, I mean, just let's call a spade a spade. The climate in Wisconsin is very different than Los Angeles and North Carolina.
Correct.
And so, because this is not the first of these incentives, right? There's certain states that are just outright paying you.
Yeah, you want to come? Here's some money.
And so I'm all for this, especially because it's a Republican bill, and Republicans want to get rid of the income tax altogether. And so, but the state income tax, I should say. And so is $10,000 income tax break enough to make you want to move across the country, especially if you don't have any ties to Wisconsin?
Right. Probably not. It's a nice thing for the few. I don't think it's going to, like on paper, oh, yes, it would fill the vacancies that we need. But it's not going to take care of all the thousands of healthcare jobs that we need to fill. It's not going to take care of all the teaching jobs. And you mentioned the states that are paying people to come. They're mostly Midwestern states, a lot of states with big rural areas where, just like in Wisconsin, the rural population is declining. There's no great climates on the list.
Yeah, because Alaska's definitely on there.
Number one. Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, West Virginia. And then the only one that's even semi-south and warm is Arkansas, but that's still not far enough south to get good weather all the time.
Is it not?
No.
What's the weather like in Arkansas?
It's north of Tennessee, or next to Tennessee, so it's northern part of Arkansas. Still
it's just north of Louisiana, isn't it?
It's northwest of Louisiana.
Okay.
But it's still the top butts up on Missouri, and that area still gets ice storms and snowstorms and, cold weather. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to move to Florida.
Yeah.
No, Florida's not paying anybody
Florida's
to come.
not paying anyone. They aren't giving you no income tax,
That's
but they're
true.
not paying you to come.
That's true. So, I mean, I like the idea. I like, I wouldn't be against it if it became a law, but I don't think it's going to do it.
If we're truly trying to solve for all of these open positions, don't limit it to just the people who have lost their homes.
That's true.
Just open it up. If you work in these industries, you get a $10K tax credit. Like if that's really the what we're trying to solve for, then have a wider base to choose from.
Cast a wider
appeal
net.
To.
I think the thought might be, all right, let's try these two communities that we know people are right now deciding. Are we going to stay or are we going to move somewhere? Well, if you're going to move somewhere, let us try to sweeten the deal a little bit. But I think besides the tax credit, if your idea is a good one, to open up, say healthcare workers. All right, we need healthcare workers here in these categories. If you are a certified professional in these categories, yes, you get the tax break. And then I know a lot of companies are doing this, the signing bonus. You got to give people a little more incentive because, like you said, if you're used to warm weather, the last week here in Wisconsin would make you reconsider all of your life choices.
I think Steve Scafidi reconsidered his life choices when he came back from the Bahamas.
He went on vacation the wrong week.
Why do I live here again? It's cold. It has been really cold. I'm over this.
It's bad. I'm wearing layers in the house. And we don't go crazy, but the furnace is like 68, 69, which should be warm enough. Oh man, the wind is blowing through this old house like nobody's business. It's crazy. But, I think I'm for this. I think
it's worth a shot.
Vote. It's worth a shot.
Because what happens if no one takes you up on it? We've lost
nothing.
Money.
We've lost nothing. Well, Robin Voss, of course, he likes to obstruct a little bit. Historically, he said it's an interesting concept, but we're gonna need to do a lot more investigating.
Well, I think there is. It's like, how much do these programs work? I know at a country basis, I think Portugal did something like this, where they were offering not only citizenship but also like paying you as far as, and I think Italy has this as far as like
saw an Italian one,
like selling these old castles or whatever for €100.
Yes.
And it's like insane things to be able to go restart your life. But I feel like the incentive, there's a little more juice on the squeeze for some of those.
Yes. Listen, if Ireland decided to start selling country estates for $1, I'd see you later. I don't know how clean feed works across the ocean.
Out of here.
Yeah, there's too much going on here. I got to get out. All right, let's get out of this, and when we come back, we're gonna once again rip off Derek Mosley, giving him full credit for our ripoff here on Spanning the State.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Hang out with me Saturdays at 1 o'clock. It's the Experience Wisconsin show. We go from north to south, from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, introducing you to some of the cool places, events, and people that make Wisconsin so super special. This week, a show that I'm really excited about. It is the Greater Milwaukee Automobile Dealers Association show, the Milwaukee Auto Show. We'll talk to an expert from the auto show. They'll tell you what's going on, the new cars, and a whole lot more. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays on WTMJ.
You got to get to Built Right today. Built Right's President's Day and Randy Kay's birthday sale and $1 million clearance sell-off are extended. This is WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Built Right furniture, leather, and mattresses. If you're looking for affordable, better quality furniture or mattresses, do what my wife and I did. We went to Built Right. We love our new living room furniture, and we loved our shopping experience as well. It's all about your comfort, your style, your home at Built Right. 4 generations, 97 years strong. 3rd and 4th generation family members are right there in the store working alongside their amazing team. Thousands of items in stock or custom order at a low sale price. USA made, small scale, Ohio Amish made, real solid wood furniture. Over 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. 60 models of USA made mattresses. Built Right always saves you money. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday. Closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, just off of 894 at 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano.
John Mercure here.
Wait, does that car say Pella on the side? What's Gina Della doing here?
Sorry, I'm late. We're on the air in 3, 2...
Recognize my voice? Get used to it.
Talk all things Windows, business, and being a boss in more ways than one with Gina Della from Pella's very own show right here on WTMJ. Starting February 1st, tune into What's the Difference every Saturday morning at 6:30 or stream anytime on WTMJ.com.
What a tease.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristin Brey.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and we have been picking Derek Mosley's brain all month because he posts a Black History fact every day on his Facebook and Instagram, and then we share it with you, and we will be talking to Derek on Monday.
Monday at 2:30.
Yeah, so we'll let him read Monday's fact and tell us if he's got anything big coming for the end of Black History Month. Well, for today, everybody knows Lewis, Clark, and Sacagawea, right? But there was also a black man who was part of the expedition. His name was York. As William Clark's slave from boyhood, he participated as a full member of the expedition and was present when they reached the Pacific Ocean. York was known for his skill in scouting, hunting, field medicine, and manual labor in extreme weather conditions. Lewis had noted in his journal how York saved him from certain death from a grizzly bear during the expedition. Due to the color of his skin, native populations were awestruck by York and treated him with respect. York played a key role in diplomatic relations, especially in the Nez Perce tribe. After the expedition had returned, every member received money and land for their service, except York. York returned to a life of enslavement. 10 years after the expedition, Clark granted York his freedom, and York worked in the freighting business in Tennessee and Kentucky. In 1833, York died of cholera. In 2001, President Bill Clinton posthumously granted York the rank of honorary sergeant in the United States Army for his service to his country.
There you go.
10 years? 10 years he kept him as a slave after the expedition? That seems excessive. You know? I mean, one day would have been excessive. But 10 years? The guy just saved your life from a grizzly bear. He helped your expedition. Now now that we're back, we're going to keep all that hush-hush. You're back to being a slave. Horrible.
It's
It's like, what did we... And up, you go for... centuries in this country, or 100 years or so, people are like, "Oh yeah, that's
This is how it is."
right?" Hey, it was a different time, right? Am I right? It was.
Well, that was. I think that's always the first one that Derek posts on February 1st. Is that we are still? It's not until the next century that Black people will have been freed.
Yeah.
In America for as long as they were enslaved.
Yeah, it's. Unfortunately, I mean, there's a lot of great facts that we've learned and a lot of information about great people, but there's still always that one part of the story that we go, oh, see, we were doing okay.
It's like, oh, it's a feel-good story until it's not.
Yes, like
until
this one.
It's like, oh, reminder.
Like, man, this York guy seemed pretty cool. Oh, really?
He died of cholera.
He died of cholera, and he was still a slave. Okay. Well, listen, on the other side of the news, we are going to talk about Guardian caps. What are those? ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The White House touting President Trump's first 30 days in office. At today's briefing, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt says the president has signed dozens of executive orders and kept his pledge to cut federal spending.
Today marks 1 month of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, and there is no denying this administration is off to a historic start.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz working to clarify the president's recent comments and frustration with Ukraine's President Zelensky, saying President Trump wants to negotiate peace, but says Zelensky is not showing appreciation or willingness to repay the U.S. for aid sent to defend against Russian attacks. Pope Francis remains in a Rome hospital. The 88-year-old pontiff is battling double pneumonia. The Vatican says the Pope is currently fever-free and his condition is improving. Israeli police say they have responded to a series of explosions on buses and a suspected militant attack in Tel Aviv. No one was injured. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:31. I'm John Mercure. Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis suspended for 25 games for using the banned substance Tramadol. His agent says he thought he was taking Toradol. Tramadol is banned. Meanwhile, the Bucks resume the regular season tonight at home against the Clippers. A road project on Milwaukee's lakefront could soon get a big funding boost. The Lakefront Gateway Project at Lincoln Memorial Drive in East Michigan is in line to receive $16 million in additional funding, according to the city. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports that bids for the project would go out in spring. Construction could begin by the end of 2026. And after 133 years and several drastic cuts, a private environmental liberal arts college in far northern Wisconsin is closing its doors. Northland College officials announcing despite several cuts, including reducing their major offerings down to 9, the school can no longer find a reasonable path forward. Enrollment at the school was about 300 students at the start of the academic year. Time for news about your money. Everything is in the red. The Dow right now is off 491. The NASDAQ is off 120, and the S&P is down 31 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. All right, let's check out those roads. Looking at the map, hey, this is nice. Pretty quiet out there. No significant delays or slowdowns. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 7 degrees. Wind chills down to 5 below inland. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 27. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 28. Sunday, cloudy, a high of 36. And Monday, slight chance for rain, a high of 42 degrees. Right now in Green Bay, cloudy skies and 27 degrees. In Madison, mostly sunny and 22. In Milwaukee, sunshine and 25 degrees. I'm John Mercure, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:33.
Beer fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors. Grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@WTMJ.com to learn more.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin, the buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Grab your to-do list and head to Fleet Farm for Project Days, happening now through the 26th. Carhartt fans get a free $20 gift card with every $100 worth of Carhartt gear. Good on your next Fleet Farm purchase. Sprout Sweet Mix for horses and livestock is just $8.99 a bag. And save $50 on a Milwaukee M18 Compact Brushless Drill Driver Kit, now only $149. And save big on Milwaukee tools during Milwaukee Deal Days, February 20th through the 26th at Fleet Farm.
Love snow blowing your driveway or shoveling your sidewalk? Yeah, right. Well, if you lived in a brand new Cornerstone development community, someone else handles those duties. Buy a brand new home in the Grove in River Hills, the Glen at Stonewall Farms in Grafton, the Glen at Standing Stone in Waukesha, or the Glen at Wanakee in Menominee Falls, and they take care of the maintenance. All built with your selection of finishes. If you downsize, there's a clubhouse for when you temporarily need to upsize. Take a virtual tour and see for yourself at cornerstonedevelopment.com.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristin Brey.
And I'm Brian Noonan. And when my youngest brother played football in high school, he suffered a number of concussions because he led with his head, which is, maybe that's a character flaw on his part. But according to the CDC, about 7 out of 10 emergency department visits for sports and recreation-related traumatic brain injuries and concussions are among children aged 17 and under. Football has the highest overall concussion rate of all high school sports. So in an effort to keep players safe, the use of Guardian caps has been added by some district programs. The theory is that these caps will help reduce the chance of concussions, but do they work? A new study conducted by UW-Madison's Department of Orthopedics and Rehabilitation set out to answer that question. The peer-reviewed results were published in the British Journal of Sports in January. Joining us to discuss the study is Dr. Erin Hammer, who led the study. She's an associate professor in the Department of Orthopedics and Rehabilitation at UW-Madison and a physician for the Wisconsin Badgers football team. Dr. Hammer, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's not bury the lead. So does wearing a padded cover over a football helmet reduce the risk of concussions for high school athletes?
Well, our study showed that wearing a Guardian cap did not reduce the risk of concussion.
Okay, so when you went into this, what was known about Guardian caps before the study? Had there been other testing regarding these, or where did it stand when you and your team decided to start looking into this?
There had been a few prior studies, primarily done in the laboratory setting, where they would put the helmets on dummies and then smack them against each other or drop them from a height. Okay. And then they would compare the bare helmet to a helmet that had a Guardian cap on it. Some of those studies showed that the forces experienced by the helmet and the dummy were reduced wearing a Guardian cap. Some were not. And then there was one other study that was done where they had athletes wear instrumented mouth guards to assess forces, which have their own limitations. But what they found were that the forces seen by those mouth guards were not reduced by wearing a Guardian cap.
Wow.
Okay. So then how did you guys conduct your study? Was it different?
Yes. So our study was really looking at real-world results of wearing a Guardian cap. So my co-investigators traveled around the state of Wisconsin and recruited over 2,600 athletes from 41 different Wisconsin schools. Half of them were wearing Guardian caps and half of them were not during practice. And then we just followed them over the course of the 2023 season. Their athletic trainers recorded concussions, and then at the end of the study, we compared the two groups and found that there were not significantly lower concussion rates in the athletes who were wearing Guardian caps compared to those who just had their bare helmets.
Did that surprise you based on what the prior investigations had shown, or was this something that you had suspected all along, which is why you decided to study this?
Well, I think that the development of these devices, all of the other strategies that we use to reduce the risk of concussion, it's because everyone cares about athletes. We all recognize that this is a problem with the sport. And so I, of course, was hopeful that they would but anecdotally, given my experience watching teams wear guardian caps, our hypothesis was that they would not work. And in fact, that's what we found.
So are these the same caps that we see in college and pro football players wearing as well?
No, they are not. In fact, the cap, the model that's used in high school is about half as thick and half as heavy as that's worn in the collegiate and pro setting. And most people that I've talked to were not aware of that. So high schools can't actually purchase the larger model. Only college and pro teams can.
Is there a reason why, or has anyone said why that is?
I don't actually know why. You'd have to ask the guardian cap company.
Okay, yeah, we
I know. I wonder
will.
if it's prohibitively expensive, but that's different than they cannot buy it.
Right.
Yeah, they cannot buy it. And
cannot.
It's really, I don't think it's that much more expensive, actually. I think it's maybe like $20 or $40 more expensive.
Wow.
Which I guess if you're outfitting an entire team could be cost prohibitive. But I suspect that I don't know if you've ever seen a young adolescent male wearing a football helmet and then you put a guardian cap on top of that, it can look a little funny. So I imagine that some of it was aesthetic.
Yeah, they look funny when the pros wear them too. But now the NFL has come out and said, the NFL is really behind the guardian caps. Has there been any studies of collegiate athletes? Because you work with the Badgers. Do they study college football players and the impact of the guardian caps on them?
So I want to clarify this point because the NFL has put out press releases, but they have not ever published their data.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder, I'm curious to see what their rates actually look like. When they report concussion risk, they're also taking into account some of the rule changes that have happened over the past couple of years, including like kickoff rules, which have significantly reduced the risk of concussions. To your question about collegiate football, no. These are tricky studies, right? Like we needed 2,600 athletes to evaluate this question in the high school setting. It would be more challenging to do that in the collegiate setting. But of course, I'm curious. I would love for my Big Ten colleagues and I to put together a study to look at this.
So it would take like the entire Big Ten to get behind it, right?
Yes, or something like that. Maybe a couple conferences to really be able to detect a difference.
Is this still touchy? Because I think back to the 2015 movie Concussion when Will Smith played the doctor who really started looking into CTE and how much pushback he was getting. Is it still really sensitive to even study this because people are so protective of not wanting to tear down football and the sport?
I think that there are sensitivities, certainly. In my role, I'm really focused on the health and safety of athletes.
Yeah.
And I, of course, enjoy football as well. I spend a lot of my time around football and football players. And I think really I focus my energy towards how can I help the athletes under my care stay safe. And if that means wearing a guardian cap, great. But there are also harms in assuming that the interventions that we're doing can reduce the risk of concussion if they actually don't. So I think it's important to go into playing football, or if you're a parent, letting your kid play football with eyes open about the risks and what we can do to mitigate them.
Well, what can we do to mitigate some of the risks other than the guardian caps, which now, thanks to you, we know do not work as sold.
Advertised.
Yeah, as advertised.
Well, to clarify that point too, the Guardian Cap company has never said that their devices reduce the risk of concussion.
Oh.
They say that they reduce impact forces, and I think the average person probably assumes that means that they can reduce the risk of concussion.
Okay.
So one point of clarification there. To your question about what can we do, there's not a lot of individual factors at play here. It's more systemic factors that we can address or intervene with to reduce the risk of concussion. So I mentioned when we make rule changes, particularly on the kickoff, there is good evidence that when we reduce contact in practices, that reduces the risk of concussion. We know that when coaches participate in tackling, like where they have education to like learn how to teach proper tackling technique, that can reduce the risk of concussion. And then finally, I think it's really important for schools to hire athletic trainers. when a concussion happens, those symptoms can be fairly nuanced and subtle, and it's important to have a medical provider on the sideline so that they can detect when an athlete is injured, remove them from play, and reduce the risk of second impact injuries, which can lead to much more severe and prolonged symptoms.
For parents who are listening now and their sons play football, when a study is peer-reviewed, what does that mean?
Well, it means that my colleagues, often around the world, are invited to read our study and assess it with a very critical lens. And they can ask questions that we might need to clarify. For example, our study went through 3 or 4 rounds of edits and questions from editors and reviewers around the country and the world. And that really is a strategy to ensure that we are putting out the very best product that we can, that we've addressed all of the potential confounders that we can. And you know, research comes with flaws. We all have our own biases. That process is really intended to put out the most intellectually honest data and report that we can.
Very nice. Well, it's fascinating, and I'm sure it's very eye-opening to parents of football players. Was there, before we let you go, Doctor, any hesitation by the schools that you reached out to be part of this study, or were they as eager to find answers as you and the other investigators were?
No, the schools that participated in our study were very eager to work with us. Part of that is that one of my co-investigators, Dr. Tim McGuine, has spent his career developing this network, and we've used this network of athletic trainers in schools that he has relationships with on other prior studies. So this is a model that's well tested when it comes to youth sport research.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Dr. Erin Hammer is an associate professor in the Department of Orthopedics and Rehabilitation at UW-Madison. She's a physician for the Wisconsin Badgers football team and was the lead investigator on this study. Thanks for your time today, Doctor. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. That's surprising that those...
It's surprising that they can't. I want to know more about why they can't. The high schools can't buy what them. The college and pro athletes wear. Yeah, and the fact that we don't know. That was surprising too when she said, "Well, the NFL has never really published their results. They put out press releases." Yeah, it doesn't. If you say, that's what maybe as soon as she said that, it makes me think of the movie
Concussion. Yeah,
when they were like, "Don't study this."
I don't know. I've had this conversation with friends of mine who have young sons who are playing football, and I love football, and I played in junior high and stuff, and my brother played in high school. I don't know if I would let my son play football, but then some of the other studies, yes, football is the most. Girls soccer is the second biggest sport for concussions in high school. So it's like, well, we can't shelter kids from everything.
What's shocking to me is, I guess it's also there's not a lot of high school rugby teams.
Right.
But it's always interesting to me the differences, and not that there's not a lot of injuries in rugby, but rugby's so physical, but because there's no padding, it's such a different way to tackle, and it's a different way to, when you're hitting, that is more protective than when you're in a helmet, in gear, that you can use it as a weapon, almost, as far as going head first and the different things that can happen. Because that always surprised me when you watch a rugby game. It's like, that's a very physical sport.
Ferocious. And that they actually, one of the articles I read about this is coaches now are trying to teach the rugby style of tackling because they don't have that security, like you said, of the helmet. So they have to learn to tackle correctly, or else you end up like the kid from Friday Night Lights in the movie. Then, that's just not good. All right, listen, when we come back, Wisconsin getting another shout out. More shade being thrown at the Gulf of America naming. A lot going on. It is spanning the state.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine. to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts. It's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often, because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved. But here, you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Put you in a mansion somewhere in Wisconsin. Like I said, ain't nothing to the pain. We can change the last name. What's happening?
As Rhea said, the song that put Wisconsin on the map, at least with a certain demographic.
Yeah, I was not familiar with T-Pain's work. I knew the name T-Pain. I was not familiar with his work, let alone his love for Wisconsin.
What's funny is T-Pain, this is such an auto-tuned song, but I've heard T-Pain on TikTok videos like sing opera. Like this guy can really, really sing. And you wouldn't, like, listening to this song, you don't think of it.
No.
But still, but he also comes on tour. He does the Wisconsin tour and comes to Milwaukee.
Well, and this all came about because, you may have heard that the Gulf of Mexico is no longer the Gulf of Mexico. To some people, it's the Gulf of America. Well, T-Pain just decided, okay, then I'm going to change some things up, and I'm going to call it the Gulf of Wisconsin. And then he wanted to rename Wisconsin,
like Michigan,
right?
Yeah.
And then the state he wants to just rename the whole state Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Now I didn't know this, and you guys probably do since you know. He needed to rhyme the word mansion in the song, and that's what he says
creative
is the
license.
reason. Yeah. Mansion, Wisconsin. I guess close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah,
it's like 20 and plenty.
That sound.
And now we have Wisconsin Fest.
And that's what it is Wisconsin Fest.
Yeah, there's like 2 years they've done it.
Wow.
And who else has come to that?
Couldn't tell you.
I know. Was it better than the tacos and tequila
Probably
fest that got
adjacent
rained
to.
out? Probably similar. similar audience.
He said he likes to give Wisconsin love because not a lot of people give Wisconsin love.
But see, I contend that I feel like Wisconsin, as far as let's call them flyover states,
sure,
gets a fair amount of love.
I think so too.
I feel like we're in the news a fair amount. There's been a fair amount of shows that have been, supposed to be located here. I think Milwaukee's pretty well known. Like, I think sometimes we're the butt of jokes. But as far as other state, like Dakotas, Kansas,
please, no.
Like, we have 3 professional sports teams. There's a lot of states that don't have 0 professional sports teams. So I feel like we still get a fair amount of love.
Well, yeah.
We're in the upper, I would say, top 20 states as far as top of mind that people don't forget about.
It all started with Happy Days and then Laverne and Shirley.
Do you think so? No.
They were both set in Milwaukee.
But you don't think it started with the Packers even before that? And like the Vince Lombardi trophy and everything?
Yeah, but that didn't have, the NFL fans did it, but to have the funds,
be in people's homes.
Right, to be in people's homes all the time, and every week you see, you're watching Laverne and Shirley and there's shots of Wisconsin to start the show. And you're like, oh, because people would watch a Packers game and they'd see Lambeau and they go, oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
But they didn't really see much more of Green Bay or of Wisconsin in the early days. Now with all the packages that they put the teams together, they do great.
So you think the turning point was Happy Days?
I'm going to call it the 70s, yeah, mid-70s.
All right.
All right, we'll figure it out, and then we'll get back to you. But now we have to do this. It's spanning the state.
Warmer temps are on their way, which means it's time for the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase on WTMJ. I love this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. Get all the tips, the tricks, and the best practices to improve your home with our trusted partners, including J&J Contractors and Bruce's team at Realty Executives. It's the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase. Going to be great. It's only here on WTMJ.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, it's the weekend. Take your family to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. Half your dinners are free, even on the weekend. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds, my favorite place. The Friday fish fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. Choice steaks, delicious seafood, mouthwatering pasta. The pecan-crusted walleye is so good. All the entrees are buy one, get one free. Desserts, too. Including that chocolate cake. Buy one, get one free. De-stress with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan. They've got 20 great bourbons, over 100 fine wines, and those 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Fantastic. Saturday night, your second prime rib dinner is free, only at the Fox and Hounds. The magnificent Sunday brunch is all you can eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Wherever you live, it's worth the drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner right near Holy Hill. Call and reserve your free dinner this weekend. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're due for service.
Rich Lawns.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home. It's the first thing people see, and it's the best return for your money on investment. At Lifetime Door, if you have an emergency, they'll come out 7 days a week to service existing garage doors and openers. 5% off any service or install at Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Get started now, 262-783-4004, lifetimedoor.net.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but despite what a certain national online company tells you, a car's not one of them.
Let's see. Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go.